The nations of Central and Eastern Asia include Mongolia, the Central Asian republics, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. Mongolia. Famed in the 13th century for founding the largest contiguous empire in history under Genghis Khan, modern Mongolia separated from Chinese rule in 1924 as the Mongolian People's Republic. After decades of political turmoil, the nation has successfully set up a bipartisan electoral system. Currently, the ex-communist Mongolian People's Party controls the legislature in opposition to the Democratic Party president, Khaltma Batulga. Mongolia is landlocked by Russia to the north and China to the south, with a landmass slightly smaller than the state of Alaska. Situated partially on the Gobi Desert, Mongolia experiences a desert climate in the south and a continental climate on the grassy steppes to the north and east. Over half of Mongolians practice Buddhism, the other half being primarily irreligious, with a small percentage of Islam and shamanism also present. At 2 people per square kilometer, Mongolia has one of the largest population densities in the continent of Asia. The majority of the population are focused in the capital and the other major city, Darhan. 81% of Mongolians are ethnic Kolkh, with the several other Asiatic and Turkic minorities comprising the remaining 19%. The national language is Kolkh Mongolian. Currently, the Mongolian economy is attempting to shift from its agrarian traditions toward a mining industry based on the extraction of copper, gold, coal, and other deposits. The Central Asian republics are made up of Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, these republics were formed from the Asian portion of the USSR. Initially, these nations saw a trend towards autocracy, but have begun introducing democratic reforms since the early 21st century. The nations of Central Asia border the Caspian Sea to the west, Pakistan and Iran to the south, China to the east, and Russia to the north. The topography of this region includes deserts, steppes, and mountains. The predominant ethnicity of this region is the Turkic people, who speak Turkic dialects and practice Islam. There are also Russian-speaking minorities and other Asiatic people who practice Buddhism. These nations rely on their large agrarian sectors in the south, with Kazakhstan employing heavy mining and drilling in the north. While the area struggled economically over its history, a 2018 report showed potential for increased economic growth and stability moving forward. Up until the 20th century, which saw major famines, invasion, and civil wars that led to the rise of the Communist Party in the late 1950s. Under Mao Zedong, China struggled to build a stable economy under the rigors of the communist regime, but following Zedong's death in 1976, the Chinese government has loosened state control in order to facilitate market growth, and by the year 2000, has seen output quadruple. Living conditions in China have increased dramatically with free market reforms, but the Communist Party under Xi Jinping still maintains a solid grip on the nation's political system. China borders Russia and Mongolia to the north, the Central Asian republics to the west, the Himalayas, Vietnam and Myanmar to the south, and the East China Sea to the east. The nation experiences widely diverse climates ranging from tropical temperatures in the south to subarctic temperatures in the north. China is home to many rivers including the Yangtze and the Yangtze, Asia's longest river. Most of China's population is settled around those major rivers, as well as the capital city of Beijing and the major industrial areas around Shenyang. Mandarin Chinese is the national language, but many other regional dialects are also spoken. Although China is officially an atheist nation, 18% of the people identify as Buddhist, and an indefinite but growing minority practice Christianity. As the largest member of the World Trade Organization, the Chinese economy is focused on manufacturing and foreign trade. Although the nation has the largest GDP in the world at a massive $23 trillion, the GDP per capita is only $16,000, resulting in low domestic consumption. In May of 2016, China announced its 5-year plan to stimulate innovation and increase domestic consumption. Taiwan was formed by the nationalist Chinese under Chiang Kai-shek, who fled from the communist regime set up in 1949. Tension with mainland China continues to the present. In 1987, parties in opposition to the nationalists began to form, and elections began to take place in 1992. Since then, Taiwan has experienced a successful democracy with a minor twist. One interesting facet of Taiwanese politics is the practice of brawling in the legislature. Politicians will actually physically attack each other to delay votes and to let their constituency know that they are literally fighting for their interests. Taiwan is a mountainous island located off the coast of mainland China that experiences a tropical climate year-round. The Taiwanese also speak the Mandarin dialect, and the largest religious groups are Buddhist and Taoist. Taiwan's economy focuses on foreign trade and manufacturing, especially of petrochemicals and electronics. The free market system of Taiwan has resulted in a per capita GDP of $50,000, over 3 times higher than China's. The Taiwanese economy is heavily influenced by fluctuations in foreign markets due to their dependence on foreign imports. After 1,000 years of independence, Korea was split into protectorates under the Soviet Union and the United States following the end of World War II. After failing to take over U.S.-backed South Korea in 1953, the Communist North Korean government adopted a strict isolationist stance on the world stage under the rule of Kim Il-sung. Following the death of Kim Jong-il in 2011, his son Kim Jong-un assumed power in both the political and military sectors of North Korea. Although formally called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the North Korean government in Pyongyang maintains a strict censorship of media as well as control of political and economic systems. The Korean peninsula is bordered by China to the north, the Yellow Sea to the south, the Sea of Japan to the east, and the East China Sea to the south. The Koreas are mountainous and experience humid continental climates. Due to heavy communist restriction, 64% of North Koreans are non-religious, 36% practice either Chindoism or shamanism, and the minorities practice Buddhism or Christianity. The North Korean economy struggles to fulfill the needs of its people. Due to mismanagement, the centralized agrarian industry has failed to produce enough food for the population. In addition, heavy spending in the military sector has sorely deprived the nation of energy and infrastructural necessities. Because of tight government control, it is not likely that economic issues in North Korea will be resolved in the near future. As previously stated, South Korea emerged from a civil war with a constitutional republic headed by the capital city of Seoul. Formerly called the Republic of Korea, South Korea saw a dramatic upswing in the economy following the Korean War due to free market practices. Free elections began in 1887 and have resulted in peaceful transitions of authority even up to March 2017, when the incumbent president was impeached and removed from office. Currently, President Moon Jae-in is working to improve tense relations with North Korea. Unlike North Korea, Christian groups and Buddhists represent a significant percentage of the population, but the rise of materialism coupled with scorn for many Christian groups has resulted in a growth of non-religious people in South Korea. South Korea's free market system has resulted in a dynamic industrial economy that competes on the world stage in automobile and electronic industries. Companies like Samsung, SK Holdings, and LG have driven the nation's GDP per capita to $39,000, and consumer confidence is at an all-time high since the election of President Moon Jae-in. After a long history of inner turmoil intermixed with shogunate rule, Japan was opened to trade by the Treaty of Kanagawa with the United States in 1854. High-volume industrialization saw Japan transform into a world power capable of defeating Russia and China on separate occasions. Following a devastating defeat in 1945, Japan began to reindustrialize and saw exponential economic growth over the course of the late 20th century. Currently, the Japanese government is run from the capital of Tokyo by the Prime Minister Abe Shinzo. Like his father, Hirohito, the current Emperor Akihiro serves a ceremonial role. In 1959, he broke 1,500 years of tradition by marrying a commoner. Japan is a mountainous island that experiences a humid, temperate climate year-round. Japan's precarious location has resulted in disastrous tsunamis, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. One of the tallest mountains in the world, Mount Fuji, is located on the mainland of Japan. Although gathered in a landmass slightly smaller than California, Japan has a total population of 126 million people, the 10th most populous nation in the world. Tokyo, the capital city, has 38 million residents, making it the largest city in the world. The overwhelming majority of Japanese are reported to practice either Shinto, Buddhism. Japan's largest exports are automobiles and electronics. Japan is the 4th highest GDP in the world at $5 trillion, and a per capita GDP of 42,000. The CIA World Factbook identified government-industry cooperation, mastery of technology, and hard work ethic as the 3 biggest factors that resulted in the growth of the Japanese economy.